Good morning, friends. I hope you all had a great night. I'm Miguel,
And I'm Jackie.
and we're going to be your MC today. Shout out to my community all the way from Milwaukee.
Woo! Shout out to all the other communities. Alrighty, just a brief announcement before we start with the official program. Last night we had a really good time, a lot of socializing, networking, and we stayed up a little late, right? Let's be honest. But if we're gonna do that, let's try to be respectful with the schedule the next day, right? And also, I encourage everyone to participate in the prayer, in the morning prayer. We have really nice prayers set up, the invocation of the Holy Spirit. La invocación del Espíritu Santo es algo muy importante porque tenemos una conferencia muy compuesta y muy bonita, pero también es un evento espiritual, ¿verdad? Que podemos crecer espiritualmente. Entonces los invito a que también se unan a nosotros en la capilla para poder participar en las oraciones matutinas.
Today we're diving deeper into the meaning of hope in action. We invite you to carry that spirit into each session and into each conversation.
All right, our next keynote is Katherine Angulo. She will be talking in the context of Pope Francis' Jubilee, what it means for young Latino adults to be pilgrims of hope. Is one way you definitely don't want to miss, right? It's one of those talks that we've been waiting for, that we looking forward to learning more about what it means to be pilgrims. Now, I have the great honor of introducing an amazing leader whom I admire. Katherine is the director of the Thriving in Ministry Initiative at the McGrath Institute for Church Life in Notre Dame. Katherine is a dynamic Catholic speaker and educator who has spent her career empowering young people to live out their faith with purpose. Today, she'll share what it means to be a pilgrim of hope in the context of Pope Francis' Jubilee. And with that, please help me join in welcoming Katherine.
Woo!
Buenos días. ¿Cómo amanecieron? Okay, I'm going to do a quick question here. How many of you only speak English? Raise your hand. And how many of you only speak Spanish? Raise your hand. Okay, so voy a estar cambiando lenguajes, just to make sure at some point you are able to log in. Now, if you are sitting right next to someone that only speaks English and I switch to Spanish, be generous and try to translate the idea of what I'm trying to say. Si están sentados a alguien que está solo habla español y cambio a inglés por un poquito, por favor ayúdenme a traducirle a esa persona para que todos podamos entender. Is that a good deal? Can we do this? ¿Están despiertos? Amigos, no se imaginan. You cannot imagine how joyful I am to be able to be with you again. It's always an honor to see familiar faces and to meet new faces. I have been able to be in the journey with all of you for the last couple of years, and it's just amazing to see how it keeps growing and growing and growing. So today, on behalf of Iskali, I found a green dress. Did you notice that? This is not the Notre Dame one. This is the Iskali one, and I will be wearing it many, 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 many times with a lot of joy and thinking about all of you. Friends, we're talking about the year of pilgrimage of hope. Hope, something that is so needed in this world, so needed. I'm pretty sure all of you have this fast-paced life where you are just barely making it, barely trying to breathe and say, I think I can do this. Or maybe I can't, I'm gonna give up. And daily we encounter people that are at the edge of giving up. And what a beautiful invitation that Pope Francis has given us with this Jubilee year, to be able to enkindle that hope. Hope that doesn't come from you, hope that doesn't come from me, hope that comes from the only one that can provide true hope, Jesus. So with this great invitation for this year, then we need to think about, what does it mean to do that? Why me? Why you? Look around. You're a bunch of great people. Look around. Look to your right, look to your left. Who knows how many future marriages we have here? The Holy Spirit, we don't know. The Catholic community, but just look around. You are extraordinary people. People that were so needed in this world that God decided to create you. And He is going to ask you this year to go back again and be a pilgrim of hope. So, in case you still don't feel that I'm good enough to be a pilgrim of hope, just like the extraordinary example that we have yesterday. You know, when you meet someone like sister, you just go like, wow, how far am I to be a holy woman or a holy man? How much more I have to go through to learn and become better? Actually, if I was one of you, yo me estaría tomando fotos y cogiendo un poquito del pelo de ella. At some point, she might become a saint. And you're going to be able to say, look, I met her when she was alive. She had that experience with Mother Teresa. Well, guess what? I want to take pictures with you and get a little bit of your hair or one part of your clothes. So then when you become saints, I can say like, look, I met them at Iskali. But we feel that we are not worth it. And yet, the church gives us these great saints. Carlos Acuti is not a saint yet. But this year of hope, he's going to become a saint. And I want you to look at your neighbor and do a little bit of math. Vamos a hacer matemáticas. Carlos Acuti was born on May 3rd, 1991. How old are you and how far away you are from his age right now? Go to the right, go to the left. Tell them, how far away are you? How many are getting the cell phone now to do the math? A ver, a todos los que hablamos español, ¿cuántos años tienen de diferencia? 12 años, 6, 9, un añito. Les presento a la quinceañera de diferencia de edad con Carlos Acuti. Yo soy de la edición Iskali, 15 años de diferencia. Friends, if you are baptized, and if you have encountered Christ at least once, and you have felt that immense love that He has for you at least once, you are official a pilgrim of the Catholic Church. And to be able to understand that, let's see what a definition of pilgrim is. Pilgrim comes from the Latin word peregrinus, which means to be a foreigner, a stranger. Meaning you are moving out of your comfort zone to discover something that you are not very familiar with. And then hope comes from the Greek word elpis, which conveys a sense of confidence. And as Sister was telling us yesterday, it's not just confidence because. It's proven confidence of the only one that has proved to be able to provide that hope, which is Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. You know what is that hope? In that cross that we see every single day. Do you know where we can find them? In the Eucharist that is waiting for us at every single sacristy. So if you have had that encounter at least once, you're going to be able to go out. For how long? How many miles? Who knows? But you have that invitation. So guess what? I'm just a simple Mexican-Colombian girl in the United States that, yes, studied theology, but that's it. Do I think God is going to call me to be a pilgrim? No. Who am I? Yet he did. I'm just going to tell you my update from last year that was with you to this year. In this pilgrimage of hope, Jesus had put me into this great invitation to say, are you willing to serve and provide hope to these different events I'm going to take you to? So on the first event that I hope many of you were there was the Eucharistic revival that happened in Indianapolis last year with more than 60,000 Catholics of the United States. For 3 years, I was in the executive committee group organizing that event. But the best part was that during that preparation, I was able to visit 38 dioceses. And in those dioceses, I could be a witness of how the Eucharist was bringing hope to every single diocese through the Eucharistic adoration that was happening in public places, outside of cathedrals, walking around with the bishops through the streets of different countries. So I was seeing how God was touching us and renewing the Eucharistic revival for us. At the same time, as a pilgrim of hope, in those meetings, which some were fun, some were not. If you think that being a pilgrim is fun and it's easy, let me tell you, you got the wrong concept. It was a lot of hard work. In many cases, I have to bring hard questions to the table to make sure that we were actually reaching out to everybody that wanted to have an encounter with Christ. I won some battles, I lost some. I gained 3 gray hairs. But that's the experience that God was able to help me be part of it, honor me, and I just say yes to the invitation. So I thought I was done. I did my job. I have my sticker. But guess what? Because in the committee of leaders of this event, I was the only Latina. They called me later on and say, Katherine, the Eucharistic Congress also happens internationally. And the USCCB is asking you to be the representative of the United States in that conference in Quito, Ecuador. So I also went to Quito, Ecuador. But the difference to this conference of the International Eucharistic Revival is not that it was so much for the people. There were 2 major events, one at the beginning of the event and one at the end, where thousands and thousands of people from Latin America came to attend. But in the week, it was just with the bishops from around the world. And this girl that only has a master's of theology and a little bit of experience in ministry ended up in a table of just bishops the whole week. In many cases, they told me, this seat is not for you. This is a seat for a bishop. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but they sent me here. My name is Katherine. Actually, in my name tag, they put Sister Katherine Angulo. And I was like, I don't have that honor. My vocation is different, but I have no clue why they sent me here. So I was exposed to these realities. But it was interesting that at the beginning, the bishops were looking at me like, what is she doing? Look at the room. I'm the only female. And all the small groups were like that. And only that, I'm the only lay woman in there. And only that, I'm the only Hispanic lay woman in that room. And for a whole week, the total of bishops that were there were more than 200, so I rotated around. At the end of the day of the event, I was in this very nice dinner that the country organized for the bishops. And they have a souvenir for every bishop. And it was a book of all the art that happened in Ecuador. And they started to give these books to every single bishop. And then literally they saw me, they passed me, and then went to the other bishop and kept giving books. And one of the bishops from Australia looked at me and said, Katherine, what is your book? And I said, no, I didn't get one. And I was like, shh, be quiet, I don't want to get in trouble. I barely made it the whole week to be here. And then he said, if Katherine doesn't get a book, I give him my book. I give her my book. And then the bishop from South Korea said, if Katherine doesn't get a book, I give her my book. And then I end up with 14 books. These things were like Bible-sized books. And I have to look around and say, stop it. I only have one suitcase. I cannot carry all these books with me. But why I'm sharing this? Because although it was a territory that wasn't familiar at all to me, I was able to sit at the table, have the conversation, and share the part that I could share of the different topics that we were talking about. And in it, with the experiences that I was able to bring to the table, hope came back to those bishops. They were telling me, what? There is a Iskali? And all those young people from Chicago show up there? And I said, yeah, they do. And what? You work with young adults from the whole nation that they want to work in the church professionally, and they're getting master's and PhD degrees? And I said, yes, I do. And what? You were able to help organize an event with 60,000 people? You? And I said, well, not only me. There is a lot of people with me, but I was part of the team. Who knew someone like me could bring international hope to the bishops? To let them know that our Hispanic young people, that actually our young people are not just trouble or a challenge, or that they don't care about God. And then after that, you think I will be like, I was already in heaven. Then God sent me to South Korea. So I was able to be part of the group that is starting to help organize the World Youth Day that is going to happen in South Korea in 2027. I was part of the first international delegation that was welcome to go there to start to help them organize that event. I speak English, French, and Spanish. I do not speak South Korean. So just picture Katherine Angulo, again, the lay girl, Hispanic lay girl, trying to talk about World Youth Day to bring hope to the community. And everything is in Korean. I was like, this is going to be interesting. This is when being a Latina is very helpful, because we use our body to make us pass the message and make sure that we understand. Well, the meetings went very well, and I was able to take a team with me. But at the end, they said, Katherine, will we be able to continue contacting you to review the content that we're going to be using in South Korea, so then you can let us know if we are hitting the target, in a sense of if the way that we're presenting the message is helpful for the Americas, not just North America, but also South America. And I say, sure, it would be an honor for me. But here is the thing. You might say, well, she's just showing off all the trips that she did in the last year. Friends, you know what I discovered? In many cases, we just worry about the need that we have in front of us. We all have seen poverty. But yesterday, we were awakened from the true reality that happens with our brothers and sisters in Haiti. And we all here have seen someone that has struggled in this country. And that's nothing compared to what sister experienced every single day. When I was doing the Eucharistic revival, the whole message about the Eucharistic revival in the United States was to help the community learn that Jesus is actually in the Eucharist. And for 3 years, we worked on forming our people to be able to do that. And we thought we did just extraordinary, and we didn't need anything else. But then when I went to Ecuador, the message in Ecuador was not just about your relationship with God. It was asking us, are you willing to do anything to carry the cross with the community? So the vertical relationship with God, the horizontal relationship with God. And that's why our speakers were not people saying just how amazing they feel when they are in adoration, which is important. But they were saying, what I'm willing to do to carry the cross so my brother and sister can also receive the Eucharist, can also receive the good news. And what I learned in Korea, although they were feeling that they were all in control, is that they forgot the value of the martyrs. They were telling me, Katherine, our young people are struggling to connect with the life of the martyrs. To give you an idea, in a space of 29 kilometers, more than 300 saints have been well, 182 saints have been declared, 150-something have been beatified, and there is another group of 100 that is going to be, is in the process of being beatified too also. Friends, what I was able to learn with this world tour that God gave me as a pilgrim last year is that in the first location, we need to be reminded every day that we are pilgrims of the one that is completely in love with us, that created us, that sacrificed his life, and that this thing is real. It's not a joke. On the second trip, I learned that it's not only to love him, but to follow his teaching of saying, pick up the cross and follow me. Not just stay still, nicely pose in front of the Blessed Sacrament. No, he's calling us to go into action in the reality that you are in, whatever opportunity comes to you. And then what I learned in South Korea was, and not only that, am I willing and open to give my life for Jesus? To whatever degree that is. Are we brave enough to say, I love God so much that I want to share truly that hope to the rest of the world? Friends, I don't get a title of the Catholic of the month in my church if I talk to 5 people about Jesus. That's not what this is. This is no business. This is no marketing. I'm not trying to sell you anything. What I'm sharing is that I have such a profound encounter with Christ that he has given me the understanding, or what my brain and my body can understand, of his love towards me and each one of you, that the least I can do as a response is to share that love with as many people as possible. Because let's look around. There is a lot of pain. Did I plan those trips? No. Did I know that were going to happen a year ago? No. What did I do? I only went to the Blessed Sacrament and say, I'm here. And who knew I was going to click all those miles around? Is it going to happen again? Most likely no. Have they changed my life? 100%. I hope also that little view that I have will change yours too. So with that example, just picture what kind of things is God gonna do with you. Friends, for decades, we were thinking that if you are a young adult, you are gonna go from getting out of high school and trying to get a job and go to a university, and then you're going to find your future spouse, or you're going to define your vocation, and then if you get married, you're going to have children, and then that's the happy ending, right? Well, life doesn't go like this anymore. Something that's very characteristic of your age group is that the stability is not around to that a straight line that has been built for you. Actually, as Latinos, even now, we're embracing different challenges in this country, different than what was a year ago. Friends, there are a lot of our brothers and sisters that are in a lot of pain. There are a lot of our brothers and sisters that are in fear. When I travel around the country, there are parishioners that are telling me, we are taking turns at home to go to church, so we make sure at least one of the adults stays at home in case the other one gets caught by ice. They are hiding. They need us. They need someone to go to the grocery store to get their groceries for them. Again, Sister yesterday told us about the voodoo, how it creates fear. What is this reality creating on us? Fear. Do you still stand up right next to a person that is struggling? You don't know how proud I am to be Hispanic or Latina, but I have seen nationwide how some young adults or children that have papers, that every time their parents ask them to do something that they shouldn't do, are threatening them If you don't do this for me, then I call ICE. How are we going to bring hope to these parents and let them know you are not alone? It's time to teach these kids who Jesus is, who a parent is, what they did for them. I have been in cities where we have learned that the children are being raised by others because the parents are working full-time, 100%, and they are renting rooms. Friends, those children need mentors of faith. And you might not be connected by blood. We're very good with the familia. Some of us are not connected by blood, but we're connected by baptism. Look around. You don't see it, but all of us that have been baptized, we have a beautiful, oily cross right here that no one is going to be able to take away. And a little bit of water right here. That's what makes us family. That's what makes us be together. So, to be able to talk about some practical points of how to bring hope to these new realities that we have. Some are serious, very serious. Some are more doable. Some are almost simple, that we could multiply even more in our everyday lives. What I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes for a second and think of a moment where you needed hope. And that hope came from a stranger. With a word, with a hug, with a little present, even with a simple notification of your presence. Do you remember that moment? Open your eyes. In this materialistic world, in many cases, we're told that hope comes through money. If I only have millions of dollars, or if I just have plenty of houses, or if I was just the Kardashians or something like that, I just don't need anything else. I am pretty sure if I ask about around the room, what was the thing that brought you hope? Most likely was a hug, a person that told you that they love you, someone that encouraged you in a hard situation, someone that brought just a plate of food, someone that prayed for you, or even someone that just said, oh, you look good today. And not for the, ooh, you look good. No, like, you are smiling. The key of being pilgrims of hope is that we bring it with compassion. And compassion comes from the Latin word com, juntos, and passion, sufrimiento, which means I am gonna journey with you in that struggle that you are experiencing right now. I'm gonna help you carry that cross. Now, not because we are masochists. Oh, let's suffer all together and let's suffer a little bit more and then I will be a great pilgrim of hope. No. It's because we understand that in the cross, Jesus can transform that suffering and build something new. He gave his life in the cross to give us what is the gift of him dying in the cross? Salvation. Every time you go to the Eucharist and you are in the offertory time that you are counting the coins in your bag, first of all, coins are not needed anymore. You can try it for the bill. Write one bill at least. But every time you're doing that and if you are disconnected from it, I invite you from now on to in that moment think about your and all the people around you sufferings and say, Jesus, this week was hard. I had a big fight with my dad. I'm bringing you that cross. Help transform it. Jesus, this friend of mine, has been diagnosed with an illness. They are scared. Jesus, here is their cross. Transform it. Jesus, I'm feeling very lonely today, or this week, or this past month. Receive my loneliness and redeem it. That's the invitation that we have in that interaction one-on-one with God. But now, what do we do when we are with others? First, because you're all going to be active pilgrims of hope, at the end you exit that door. Prayer. Never start to be a pilgrim of hope without putting yourself in the right place, which is prayer. Pray to God that he will lead you to the person that needs that hope that day. It might be something extraordinary that he's going to ask you to do, or it might be something simple. But in that prayer, ask God to say, make me aware with my hands, with my ears, with my eyes, to know who is that person that needs that hope today and how I can bring it to that person. And say very clearly, because Jesus, you know, I cannot do it by myself. But if we're a team, we will be okay. And journey with me into that. That's the invitation that we should be asking every morning to Jesus. The second one, we need to learn how to listen and how to love. Recently, I experienced one young woman at the university, a young student, that came to me, and she's on fire for Jesus. And not lying to you, she came to my face like this close, and I'm Latin, so I don't care our space, but I felt uncomfortable. She was right here. She said, Katherine, I see you today. Tell me what I need to pray for you right now. I was like, whoa, too much caffeine. And before I opened my mouth, she started to pray. And I was like, wait. I haven't even told you what's going on with me. First, you pray to prepare yourself to put all your body, all your gifts, all your love for God ready to be in this position to receive and encounter this other person. Once you encounter it, listen, not predict, not going like, okay, that one, that's a major sin. Or that one, that's because of, this is not a gossip moment. This is a moment where you need to hear the heart of this person. And once you hear that big need that that person has, love them. Not love them in their sin, love them for who they are, a child of God. Be the representative of God in that moment and let them know that they are worth it. You might have to challenge them, but at that point, just love them. And then after you love them, engage with them. What do I mean with that? Just don't say, oh, this is your problem? Okay, so I'm going to pray for your mom, so your mom is going to feel better, okay? Okay, cool, bye. Never talk to that person again. No. Just come to her and say, well, we don't have a cup of coffee. Tell me more about it. Or say, let me call you in a week and see how things are going. And sincerely call them in a week. One time, I have a young person that was very active in the youth that I led, but then disappeared. And then what I decided to do is I started to text her. Every Tuesday, I will text her, how are you doing? What's going on? And I did it for a whole year without getting anything back. Not even a thank you or a stop texting me or you are blocked, nothing. And one day, I forgot. Guess what happened at 5 o'clock on that Tuesday? I got a text back. I was like, where is my text? I was like, whoa, are you alive? I thought you discontinued me by now. Our consistency and that engagement is the one that can little by little transform the heart and let them know that you are not seeing them as a record or as a goal, but that you really care. And not because you are a saint, but because you really know God cares about that person. And if God cares about you, I'm going to care about you. And if you care about her and you care about God, then we're going to now be connected. And then that community keeps growing and growing and growing. Being engaged, being part of it, This is not a nice formula. Every single moment of need is different. How much you can do or how little you can do, God knows. But the only fact that you say yes, that you give your fiat, you will be transformed to see what God can do. You know what he did to me? He sent me to the Indianapolis, and then he sent me to Ecuador, and then he sent me to South Korea. And again, I'm not saying it to say, like, look, no. Like, who am I? I'm pretty sure Jesus kind of mixed the notes cards of who was the best person to do that, and he dropped it or something, and then somehow he got the wrong card and say, okay, let's give it to Katherine by mistake. But then I'm here and I'm going like, hello, I'm ready for action. So, and the last one is serve. You can pray all you want for people, and prayer is indispensable. Again, it's our first food and second food. But if you don't provide to that person what they actually need on service, meaning we can pray all we want for the children in Haiti the sister talked to us about. And those prayers will be blessings for them. But they also need something in their stomach. And we just learned yesterday, $5 can feed one child for a whole month. Your McDonald's, right there, one child, whole month. We also need to take action. We also need to be active. Again, pilgrim means movement. Pilgrim means uncomfortableness. Pilgrim moves entering into territories that you don't feel comfortable, yet you know you are being led by God, and you know you will be able to serve the way that he wants you to serve. Some of you here are attending to be nurtured. Some of you here have done this for many years, and now you are servants. Guess what? These walls are great. Iskali is great. But there is a whole world out there that also needs you. At the end, when we die, we don't say to Jesus, I'm an Iskali member. Got the pass to go straight to heaven. No, at the end is, I'm a Jesus team member. And I was able to be in Iskali, and I was able to be the same person with my family, and I was able to be the same person with my friends, and I was able to be the same person with the people that I know and the people that I don't know. Because everything I did was coherent to be based on my faith. And who is the one that inspires me, and who is the one that makes things happen. And then at the end, you share. In many of the occasions, our Protestant brothers and sisters, they are very active, and they do a lot of great work. But the first thing that they do is they share their testimonies. Friends, we don't share testimonies until we just let them know who is our essence and what is our authenticity of doing what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. Who inspires us to do what we do. And why do I say that? Because if we don't understand that when we share and we witness to the other, should first reflect with every action that we do every day without being seen, then we don't understand what we're doing, and we don't know what is to be pilgrims of hope. We're just faking it. How many times you saw someone, and I'm going to give you a very simplistic, mundane example, came to you and say, is this a good haircut? And you told them that they look good and they didn't. Is that hope? Is that true friendship? No. The invitation is not to insult them and let them know you look horrific. No. The invitation is to say, like, you know what? The haircut that you have like 2 years ago, that's the one that I like the most. Very gently, you told the truth, but you told the truth. Pilgrims of Hope is not to say, You have won the Aladdin lamp, where miracles are going to happen and everything is going to be fixed forever. Pilgrims of hope is those that are able to stand up, hold the cross with the brother and sister that God has put in front of you. That person can be a new infant or it can be 110 years old. And you love them and let them know you are not alone. And the only way that you can get there is if you have been able to experience it. So if you haven't, guess what, Iskali? You have a lot of work to do here. But if you had, then don't stop here. I'm going to say very clearly, no sean egoístas. Just picture a little kid when he's at the ice cream store and the parents don't want to buy them ice cream and the kid said, no seas egoísta, yo quiero un helado. Mamá, papá, yo quiero un helado. Well, I'm telling you, if you have experienced God and if you have experienced even for 1 second that hope that came from God into your life in the most important moment, no seas egoísta, share it with the world. Because that can transform lives. I know it transforms mine constantly, and every day I learn how much more I have to learn. Yet I'm mesmerized by how loving and generously God allows me to just keep walking with all my brokenness and with all my mistakes and with all my lack of understanding. He keeps taking me into a journey to understand that He is here. He is here. And to end, I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes and think that what you are going to listen is Jesus speaking to you right now.
Esta canción y donde te canta al corazón.
Miras al frente y no sabes a dónde vas. Propones planes que no logras realizar. Será el miedo el que te nuble la razón. Te paraliza y congela el corazón. No te rindas, hay mucho más por conocer. En la paciencia tu corazón vuelve a ver.
Tranquilo, que no estás solo, siempre hay alguien contigo y que en sus brazos te carga rendido. Te vuelves más ligero si te abandonas en mí.
No te agites, cierra los ojos, abre el alma y ven conmigo. Soy tu refugio, tu resguardo y tu amigo. En mi palabra sabrás dónde está el camino.
Te vi llorar en tu habitación, buscando respuesta en el dolor. No veas el pasado, camina a mi lado. Yo te levantaré aunque caigas 1000 veces.
No te rindas, hay mucho más por conocer. En la paciencia tu corazón vuelve a ver. Tranquilo, que no estás solo, siempre hay alguien contigo y que en sus brazos te carga rendido. Te vuelves más ligero si te abandonas en mí. No te agites, cierra los ojos, abre el alma y ven conmigo. no estás solo, siempre hay alguien contigo, y que en sus brazos te carga rendido. Te vuelves más ligero si te abandonas en mí. No te agites, cierra los ojos, abre el alma y ven conmigo. Soy tu refugio, tu resguardo y tu amigo. En mi palabra sabrás dónde está el camino. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado. Aunque todos te abandonen, yo estaré a tu lado, estaré a tu lado.
Y para terminar, amigos, estamos en el año jubilar de ser peregrinos de la esperanza. Mi invitación para ustedes en esta reunión es que en su oración le abran los oídos, los ojos, sus manos, su corazón a Dios y le digan: Señor, en este salón, ¿a quién tengo que darles mensaje de esperanza hoy? Hoy, no mañana, no en 28 años, hoy. Y practiquen eso en el día de hoy. Empecemos a traer esperanza hoy. Y con alegría, mírense las caras, voltéense al de al lado. ¿Le están sonriendo al de al lado? Voltéense, no, en serio, volteen. ¿Le están sonriendo al de al lado? No es una alegría de mentiras. No es la sonrisa que hemos aprendido en nuestros selfies. Es la alegría de eso que tenemos en nuestro corazón. Jesús nos dejó llegar aquí. Y Jesús sabe que necesitamos ayuda. Pero también, aún con esa necesidad, Dios sabe que tú también tienes algo que ofrecer en este mundo. Ese talento, esas palabras, ese abrazo, ese amor con alguien más en este salón. Todos aquí sabemos, y qué pena hermana que, I'm sorry sister, I keep mentioning you, but you were such an inspiration to me yesterday and I think to all of us. I know how extraordinary amazing you are. And at some point before I leave, I'm going to ask you to please give me a blessing because I know she's a healing woman. But I also know your heart at some point, you feel broken or you feel hopeless. Not because she doesn't have faith or she doesn't, no. It's because the work is hard. Make sure, Iskali, that you love sister so much today and tomorrow and as long as she stays. So she goes back with a full heart to Haiti. So she can multiply in ways that she has never done before. And that is the call for each one of you. As mothers, as sisters, as teenagers, as young adults, as very executive people, as I don't have a job right now, you all are worth it. You all are beautiful, and you all are called to bring that joy out there to that very, very painful world that we have. But never forget, a person that is a pilgrim of hope can see God through every single corner of this place. That's where our trust lays on. Jesus is here. And I can see already, he is here in this room. Now share that hope during the next day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for your talk about hope. It was really touching. At least I felt it. I don't know about you guys, but thank you so much.
No,